Obviously, the sex addiction is very big because out of all the videos that I've been posting, this one has been the most viewed one. And thanks for all the response. We've been talking about sex addiction, what it is, what it entails, what it makes people do, how it makes people act, what exactly is it. We've been defining it. And let's continue. And we're reading from the Green Book from SAA. When we were active in our addiction, it was difficult to stop our sexual preoccupation. They intruded into our thoughts, especially when we were under pressure. That's a lot of, that's what I can relate to a lot because in my active days, as soon as I got pressure from work, or I felt under pressure, or I didn't know how to cope with life, or I didn't know how to cope with a certain situation, the first thing I would think about was to act out and just to want to escape and get into a bubble and not face what's really going on. They intrude into our thoughts, especially when we're under pressure. These included fantasizing about sex, think about past sexual acting out, and planning to act out again. And that's what sex addiction, especially pornography. My acting out was pornography a lot and masturbation. And it gets to such a point that that's all you think about. The times you used to act out, the things you've acted out on, the woman that you've thought about, the woman that you fantasize about, even when you're trying to work, even when you're trying to study, even when you're with your friends. And the only thing you think about is the next time that you'll get to act out again. Sexual obsession had consequences of its own. We were preoccupied by sex. We had a hard time concentrating on anything else. And that's what it usually does. You tend to lose focus. You lose focus at work. You lose focus with your priorities. You lose focus on what's really important, what needs to get done, what you should be doing, what you should be focusing on, what job needs to get done. These things tend to not become a priority. Our family, our friends tend to, not become a priority. The only thing that becomes a priority for us is acting out. We would use sexual fantasy to deal with emotions and situations that we didn't want to face. And that's what acting out provided for me especially. It gave me a chance to forget about what's going on, forget about my problems, forget about what situations I need to deal with, forget about what's really going on. If something bad or stressful or emotionally hurtful would happen to me, the first thing I think about was, let me act out. Let me not face this thing. Let me find a way to escape it. I couldn't deal with misery. I couldn't deal with loneliness. I couldn't deal with rejection. I couldn't deal with the fact that I don't have a girlfriend. So acting out became a way to escape my emotional situations, to escape situations that I did not want to face. The more we did this, the more sexual obsession grew. Before long, many of us were thinking or fantasizing about sex around the clock. And that's where it gets to. Our fantasies would become more compulsive and more extreme. I just want to touch on it a little bit. When I started acting out, it was on soft porn when I was 13 years old. And the more I did it, the more hardcore the pornography became. And the more extreme the pornography became. It was growing, First of all, I'd start watching it only once a day. Then it became twice a day, then 3 times a day, and then sometimes the whole day. Got to a point where I couldn't do anything before doing anything in the morning. The first thing I'd wake up and act out before going to sleep, it was the same thing. So it did grow, it did become worse and more extreme. If we acted on our fantasies in the hope that fulfilling them would satisfy us, we found ourselves simply hungry for more. The more I acted out, the more I wanted to act out. The more I acted out, the more I wanted to act out. The more I acted out, the more I wanted to act out. I was never satisfied. Acting out is not like food. If someone is an overeater, you can only eat to a certain extent and then you're full and then you don't want to eat anymore for like 2 to 3 hours. But acting out is not like that. The more acting out and the more lustful you become, the more lustful you do want to become, The longer we stayed in this fantasy world, the more we lost touch with reality. And I did lose touch with reality. I didn't realize how serious my addiction was. And I lost control of everything, you know. Our sexual obsession often led us to believe that other people were obsessed like we were. Yeah, for me, every woman wanted to have sex with me. If she smiled at me, if she looked at me, even if she was friendly, I thought she's in love with me, she wants to have sex with me. In my world, woman, I don't know. I thought that every woman that's nice to me, that's smiling at me, wants to have a relationship with me or wants to have sex with me. You know, so I had to learn that you do get kind woman and she's just being friendly and there's nothing more to it. So I'd end up asking out every girl that was friendly and nice to me, thinking that she has a crush on me, whatever, you know, and that's what this leads to. As a result of this belief, some of us would make sexually inappropriate suggestions or jokes or remarks. Yeah, not everybody appreciates sexual jokes. And as a sex addict, you think because you appreciate them, because you like them, you assume that everybody else likes them, that everybody else appreciates them. But it's not the case. Other people, it makes them feel uncomfortable. Others find them inappropriate. For others, it goes against their religious beliefs. You know, so we need to remember that just because we find such behaviors appropriate, a non-sex addict doesn't find them appropriate. And I find that now that I've stopped acting out and I've stopped watching pornography, my beliefs have changed. I've found a higher power of my own understanding, and I don't appreciate it when people send me sex jokes or send me porn clips or send me pictures of naked women. I find it inappropriate. It goes against my beliefs, and I just don't like it. So I can relate to this from another side now that I'm in recovery, that other people don't appreciate it, but a guy that's in active addiction might think that someone else likes it, but some people don't like it. It's not that sexual fantasy is necessarily unhealthy in and of itself. Our problem was that we lost ourselves in these compulsive fantasies, becoming more and more isolated from others and from reality. So we tried to establish boundaries around our behavior, but eventually we'd violate these boundaries. So we couldn't control ourselves. We never had this under control. And it was just causing problems in our life. This is the last of the series. We've had part 1, part 2, this is part 4, we've had part 3. I hope you've enjoyed them. I hope they've made a difference in your life. And go to Sex Addict Anonymous, click there, find a meeting, attend the meetings, start working a program, do your 3 inner circles, find yourself a sponsor, do some service work, and I hope that you recover and that you find freedom from sex addiction. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope this, me being of service, makes a difference in your life. Thank you.